Masters of War is a song by Bob Dylan, written over the winter of 1962–63 and released on the album The Freewheelin Bob Dylan in the spring of 1963. The song's melody was adapted from the traditional Nottamun Town. Dylan's lyrics are a protest against the Cold War arms build-up of the early 1960s. Basis of melody. With many of his early songs, Dylan adapted or borrowed melodies from traditional songs. In the case of Nottamun Town, however, the arrangement was by veteran folk singer Jean Ritchie. Unknown to Dylan, the song had been in Ritchie's family for generations, and she wanted a writing credit for her arrangement. In a legal settlement, Dylan's lawyers paid Ritchie $5,000 against any further claims. Recordings and performances. Dylan first recorded Masters of War in January 1963 for Broadside magazine, which published the lyrics and music on the cover of its February issue. The song was also taped in the basement of Gerd's Folk City in February and for Dylan's music publisher, M. Whitmark and Sons, in March. The Whitmark version was included on the Bootleg Series Volume 9 The Whitmark Demos, 1962 1964 in October 2010. The Freewheelin version was recorded on April 24, 1963, by Columbia Records. In addition to that album, it has also appeared on compilation albums such as Masterpieces in 1978 and Biograph in 1985. During 1963, Dylan performed the song at his three major concerts, including New York's Town Hall on April 12, Brandeis University's Brandeis Folk Festival on May 10, and Carnegie Hall on October 26. He also played it at an afternoon workshop at his first Newport Folk Festival appearance on July 27. The Town Hall performance was released on the Bootleg Series Volume 7, No Direction Home in August 2005 and the Brandeis version on Live in Concert at Brandeis University 101,963 in October 2010. A live, electric version, recorded at London's Wembley Stadium in 1984, was included on Dylan's 1985 Real Live European Tour album. He performed the song during the 1991 Grammy Awards ceremony where he received a Lifetime Achievement Award. After 1963's performances, Dylan did not play an acoustic version of Masters of War for 30 years, until his Hiroshima concert in Japan in 1994. Leon Russell's 1970 version retains Dylan's lyric but is sung to the melody of the Star-Spangled Banner. Themes. In the album notes to the Freewheelin Bob Dylan, Nat Hentoff wrote that Dylan startled himself with this song, and quotes Dylan saying, "I've never written anything like that before. I don't sing songs which hope people will die, but I couldn't help it with this one." The song is a sort of striking out. A feeling of what can you do? Critic Andy Gill described the song as the bluntest condemnation in Dylan's songbook, a torrent of plain speaking pitched at a level that even the objects of its bile might understand it. Gill points out that when the song was published in Broadside magazine in February 1963, it was accompanied by drawings by Suze Rotolo, Dylan's girlfriend at the time, which depicted a man carving up the world with a knife and fork, while a hungry family forlornly looks on. According to Todd Harvey, in this song Dylan allows the listener no opportunity to see the issue from the master's eyes. I and you are clearly established and you are clearly wrong. The repetitive text and accompaniments droning single harmony work in tandem to drive home relentlessly the singer's perspective. Harvey notes that Dylan transforms Nottamun Town, which has absurdly nonsensical words, into a confrontational political song. Dylan's writing entered a new facile harsh, and fitting with the times. On January 17, 1961, President Dwight D. Eisenhower gave his farewell address from the Oval Office. In this speech, he warned that we must guard against the acquisition of unwarranted influence, whether sought or unsought, by the military-industrial complex. In an interview, published in USA Today on September 10, 2001, Dylan linked his song to Eisenhower's speech, saying, "Masters of War is supposed to be a pacifistic song against war. It's not an anti-war song. It's speaking against what Eisenhower was calling a military-industrial complex as he was making his exit from the presidency. That spirit was in the air, and I picked it up." Notable recordings by other artists. Masters of War has been recorded by many artists over the years. Following are some of the song's most notable recordings and the albums they appeared on. Singles are noted accordingly. 1963 Judy Collins, No. 3 Collins omitted the final verse "I Hope That You Die" from her recording, viewing it as being too violent in nature. 1964 The Staple Singers, This Little Light. 1965 Pete Seeger with a spoken lyrical rendering in Japanese on his album Strangers and Cousins. 1965 Odetta Sings Dylan. 1965 Joza Copyright Feliciano, Memphis Menu. 1967 Barry Maguire. 1968 Cher, Backstage. 1970 Leon Russell. 1981 Valor Copyright Ryla Grange Shizmoy. 1983 Martin Simpson, Grinning in Your Face. 1984 Roger Taylor, Strange Frontier. 1984 The Flying Pickets, Lost Boys. 1990 Mark Arm The Freewheelin'. 7. 1992 Eddie Vedder and Mike McCready, The 30th Anniversary Concert Celebration. 1996 Tim O'Brien, Red on Blonde. 1999 Broadside Electric, With Teeth. 2000 Roland van Kampen Out and Wans van der Velde, De Nomaden van der Muziek. 2003 Pearl Jam, Live at Benaroya Hall. 2004 DOA, Live Free or Die. 2004 Iskra. 2004 Bob Weir with Rat Dog, We're Here. 2004 Justin Sullivan and Friends, Tales of the Road. 2005 Bill Frisell, Further East Further West. 2007 Mountain with Ozzy Osbourne, Masters of War. 2008 RPWL, The RPWL Experience. 2010 Annika. 2011 Arsonists Get All the Girls, Songs for the Resistance. 2013 Lee Abramson, album The Antarctic Wars. 2013 Ed Sheeran, One Presents Agitate, Volume 2. 2013 John Wheeler, Un-American Gothic. 2013 The R.O.J. Light, album Justice for Believers. 2014 Barb Jungr, album Hard Rain, the songs of Bob Dylan and Leonard Cohen. Other cultural references. American contemporary classical composer John Corigliano set the song's lyrics to music in his 2000 song cycle Mr. Tambourine Man. Like the other 6 Dylan songs in the cycle, Corigliano's version is musically unrelated to the original. The Sage Francis song Hey Bobby references Masters of War with the lyrics Hey Bobby, the Masters are back, and they're up to no good just like the old days. He played dead when you stood over their graves, Bobby, he played dead when you stood over their graves. The Staple Singers' 1964 version of Masters of War was used as the soundtrack in the promotional trailer for Sony's Resistance 3 video game in 2010. See also, List of Bob Dylan songs based on earlier tunes, List of anti-war songs. Notes. References. External links, Masters of War lyrics, BobDylan.com, Masters of War music and lyrics, Broadside, February 1963, pages 1.